Moving on now, the dramatic U.S. military capture of Venezuela's leader appears to have reignited hope in Kyiv and emboldened the Ukrainian president to push for stronger action against Moscow. Zelensky is now urging the United States to turn up the pressure on Russia once again, and this time by targeting one of Putin's closest allies, Chechen strongman Ramzan Kadyrov. Zelensky has said the operation against Maduro proved that Washington has the tools, the capability and the will to act decisively when it chooses to. He argued that if the United States can remove a dictator from power in South America, it could also apply similar pressure on Russia's power structure. That statement on your screen. Now, Zelensky has said removing Kadyrov would send out a powerful signal to Putin and also force him to think twice about continuing the war against Ukraine. Ramzan Kadyrov has ruled Chechnya since 2007. He is one of Putin's most loyal and vocal supporters, once a breakaway region that fought bloody wars against Moscow. Chechnya is now kept firmly under Kremlin control. And through Kadyrov's personal loyalty to the Russian president, he has sent thousands of Chechen fighters in Ukraine since the war began. And last year, Ukraine filed war crime charges against him over his treatment of Ukrainian prisoners of war. Since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Chechen forces loyal to Kadyrov, often called the Kadyrovites, have played a visible role in the war. They were deployed early, featured heavily in propaganda, and also presented as feared and disciplined fighters supporting Russia's offensive. Units have claimed participation in major operations, including the siege of Mariupol, and have been used by Moscow to protect the image of a multi-ethnic Russian force united behind Putin's war effort. Analysts noting that the Chechen role has been as much political and psychological as it has been purely a military one. While some Chechen fighters engaged in combat, many were reported to be operating away from the front lines, serving in security, enforcement, intimidation roles. And for the Kremlin, the value of Chechen forces lies not only in firepower but also in loyalty, also fear, symbolism. It reinforced Putin's control over Russia's regions and showed that even former enemies now fight for the Russian state. And Kadyrov himself has taken an extremely hardline position on Ukraine. Previously, repeatedly, he called for escalation, even floating the idea of using nuclear weapons. And his rhetoric has made him a key voice in Russia's war narrative. He responded with angry and derisive comments, accusing Zelensky of cowardice and mocking the idea that Ukraine's president would rely on others to deal with his enemies. For Ukraine, it's now nearly 4 years into that full-scale war. Zelensky is using every example out there to argue that stronger and more direct pressure could change the course of this war. But he should not forget that Russia is a nuclear-armed power. Any direct operation against its leaders or regional strongmen would carry serious consequences. And the suggested method could escalate the conflict far beyond Ukraine, perhaps. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.